We're Kevin Chris Waterhouse.
And we are Travelling Australia.
We're so glad you can join us on our adventures. Living the dream. Well, we've left Litchfield National Park. We're heading south on the Stewart Highway, heading towards Katherine. We're going to go out and check out Katherine Gorge. This is a place we've never been before. We were planning on using our drone once we get out to Katherine Gorge. Part of our permit system is that we have to liaise with any of the helicopters or anyone doing scenic flights over the gorge. So that was our first stop on the way in. While we're there, we had a bit of a sticky beak around. Had a look at the inside of some of these helicopters. I'm not real good with heights, so I think we'll just stick to the drone. We get some pretty good footage with that. After checking in, our first stop was the pool. This was an awesome setup, beautiful pool, and with the shade cloth over the top, you could be in here as long as you wanted without getting burnt.
The Nitmilluck National Park offers accommodation from camping right through to the upmarket Cicada Lodge.
After we got permission from the head ranger, we were able to use our own tinny to go up the gorge, but we decided we'd follow up one of the tour operators because there was quite a few obstacles to avoid on the way up. It's very late in the dry season, so the water levels are down considerably.
Nitmilluck National Park is about 30 kilometres from Katherine with 13 amazing gorges.
There's quite a few tour boats here, and they even offer a sunset cruise where you really get to appreciate all the colours of the gorge. Well, we've reached as far up as we can go by boat, so now it's time to go for a walk. As we were walking up the gorge, there was a tour group coming back. They pointed out where we should look for the rock art. In the second section of the gorge, there's canoes and kayaks available to hire. Be a great way to explore the gorge, just a nice quiet gentle paddle. It was nearly time for us to take off with the drone. This was our allotted time with the helicopters, and we were really looking forward to getting some aerial footage of the gorge. thought we'd be better off playing it safe, and we'll follow one of the tour boats back. Well, we're now heading west towards the West Australia Northern Territory border. We feel it's really important to have a UHF radio in your vehicle. In a situation like this, we call up the driver and ask him to give us a heads up when it's safe for us to come around. The operators of these road trains really are true professionals. With 3 trailers of fuel, this one would have to be in excess of 120 tonnes. The further west we go, the more dramatic the scenery is. Getting close to the campground where we planned on stopping for a few days, I thought we'd better stop and grab a bit of firewood before we go into a national park.
Big horse campground on the way to Kununurra, a couple of 100 kilometres out of Kununurra. I love the big boab trees, they're gorgeous, and that's the road down to the boat ramp.
Part of the Victoria River. The last time we were here was when we spotted the biggest crocodile we've ever seen. It would have been well in excess of 20 foot.
It's the little baby barra. Big one. Beautiful. Silver.
They are beautiful. Whoa, look out.
We were getting plenty of barra, but they were all mostly small.
He's only a little fella too.
We're at the Western Australia Northern Territory border checkpoint. Here they do a very thorough check of vehicles. They make sure there's no prohibited fruit and veggies that may carry any diseases or any fruit fly.
But we better fuel up all our containers. We're in Kununurra now, just about to head off up towards Windham and then down to the highway towards the Gibb River Road.
quite surprised at the size of Wyndham. We expected a much bigger town. We were quite surprised by the colour of the water here. We were expecting to see beautiful blue water, but the combination of shallow water and big tides leave it looking more like milk coffee.
It's hard to miss the Big Crocodile at Windham. It's 20 metres long and 3 metres high. Here we met Vanessa and Jonathan. Vanessa was carving a boab nut, which we later bought.
We unhooked the caravan at the supermarket, left it there and drove the car up to Five Rivers Lookout.
We're at the Five River Lookout at Windham. Awesome views.
Who would have thought you'd get a pie like this in Windham? It was beautiful. We're heading south now down towards the turnoff of the Gibb River Road.
Just dropping the tyre pressures down. They're 42 at the moment. We're going down to about 25. We've only come maybe 150, 200 metres of gravel and it's rough. So this is the most important thing, is getting the pressures down to take the shock out of the whole thing.
We find it very important not only to keep your tyre pressures down when the roads are this rough, but also keep your speed down. You just gotta love the corrugations. This is the Pentecost River. Our plan was to camp here for a few days if we could find a spot down by the water somewhere. up with a beautiful campsite right on the edge of the Pentecost River. A beautiful way to watch the sunset with the mountain ranges in the background. We had a real laugh the next morning. When we came outside, we found that the water here was still under a tidal influence.